Yo, what up, everybody? This is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka DeLorean33. I am back here today with the Legit Shoot podcast, here with a SmackDown live review for May 8th, 2020. Hope you guys are staying safe and healthy as we go through these crazy times. But I am here reviewing SmackDown, keep you guys entertained the way I always do right here on the channel. Before we get into the podcast here tonight, a couple of big things. This was the final episode of SmackDown before Money in the Bank this Sunday. Yes, for some of you guys that didn't know, we do have a pay-per-view this Sunday, and it's Money in the Bank. It's a big one. Money in the Bank to me is part of the Big Five. The Big Five pay-per-views WWE does every year: Royal Rumble, Mania, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, all right? And this is going to be a big show. And even though WWE, they don't have no live audiences, there has been reports that WWE will be allowed possibly to have live audiences, possibly in the Performance Center, sometime in June. That is a possibility. Nothing's been confirmed as of this moment, but that is a possibility if things start to get better. We know that states are starting to slowly open back up. And before we get into that, I wanted to talk about SummerSlam really quick. You guys do know SummerSlam. It's part of the Big Five. I think SummerSlam this year is going to be huge, especially because, WrestleMania had to take place in the Performance Center. I don't think that's going to be the case with SummerSlam, but right now we don't know. We've heard reports in the last couple of weeks that WWE does have a backup plan in case SummerSlam cannot happen. All right. And we know SummerSlam is supposed to take place right in my neck of the woods here in Boston. But I already have tickets for the show. You guys have heard me talk about it. And, the big thing for me is I think that was going to be the show where they do Sasha Banks and Bayley. And, we would get to see Sasha finally become, SmackDown Women's Champion, become a Grand Slam champion. And I feel like it would be a fantastic moment for all of us, especially being with SummerSlam inside her hometown. Well, it looks like that might not be the case anymore because Mayor Walsh, he is the mayor of Boston. He announced earlier today that there's going to be a 4-month ban on large public gatherings, big events like concerts, things like that. So he said through September 7th, which is Labor Day, there will be none of that in the city of Boston because, they want to have a safe reopening, and it all makes sense. We want everyone to stay safe and healthy, as, we try to get back to some kind of normal lifestyle because, honestly, these last 2 months have been hell for everyone. But, a lot of people are wondering what's WWE going to do now about SummerSlam. We've heard that there's going to be, reports. We've heard that WWE has a backup if SummerSlam can't take place. I hope it takes place in Boston, even if it does not, even if we can't have a full crowd. I hope somehow it does happen in Boston because I'll be damned, not getting to watch Sasha win the SmackDown Women's title inside her hometown if that happens, which we all believe it most likely will. And we will talk about Sasha and Bayley, of course, like we always do here on the SmackDown reviews. But we don't really know what's gonna happen. Remember, SummerSlam is still about 3.5 months away. There's still plenty of time. WWE, maybe they can work something out with Boston, and so the show still takes place. Just because the ban is put, or the ban was put by Mayor Walsh, doesn't mean they could be a workaround. Remember, it was just a couple weeks ago we heard that Florida was planning on shutting down WWE from filming inside the Performance Center, and then just a couple hours later we hear WWE's an essential business. Yes, maybe they could do something unique, like maybe they have SummerSlam take place in some kind of island, so it actually feels like a SummerSlam. The biggest part of the summer. Maybe they do something like, I don't know, they get a beach or something, bring a ring, actually have fans in attendance, if wherever they do it allows it, but I'm still holding out hope that we'll get SummerSlam in Boston still. I'm still holding out hope. But if it doesn't happen, so be it. I'll get a refund. It's not a big deal. But just for the fact of being a Sasha Banks fan, I would love to see that moment happen live. And I'm willing to bet even if WWE can't get SummerSlam in Boston, we'll most likely have it in Boston next year or something. They'll work something out. But I just wanted to talk about that really quick before we get into SmackDown. And also, before we get into SmackDown tonight, Money in the Bank is this Sunday. I was going to do a live stream, like a live reaction stream, but I'm most likely not going to do that. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not that excited for Money in the Bank. You know, the card doesn't really look all that appealing. You know, I don't really care about the Money in the Bank matches. Like, I have people that I want to win, but, you know, the second, like I said this a couple weeks ago, the second that you had Lacey Evans pin Sasha Banks and Sasha wasn't in the Money in the Bank ladder match, you know, it looks like Sasha's most likely just going to be at ringside supporting Bayley for a match against Tamina. You know, I was pretty much out of it. And, you know, a lot of us still waiting for our Sasha Banks and Bayley feud, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but I'm just not that hyped for Money in the Bank. It's like the reason why I didn't do a Money in the Bank prediction show earlier this week. It's the reason why I'm not doing a live stream, you know, unless something changes last minute. But we will have a live Money in the Bank review right after the show goes off the air. So make sure you guys are right here on Fitzmonk TV for that. So if you guys enjoy the review tonight and you guys are new to the channel, you guys are going to love what I do. My pay-per-view reviews are usually some of the best reviews of the year. I usually go very hard on those. So definitely, if you guys are new to the channel, you guys watching the SmackDown review tonight, just hit that subscription button, all right? And click the bell right next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. But getting into SmackDown tonight, let's get into the show. And what was my thoughts on the show? I will say this. SmackDown wasn't anything special tonight. It wasn't. You know, I believe it was last week we had the whole Triple H's 25th anniversary, if I'm correct. I think that was last week. But this week, you know, they focused on Money in the Bank, focused on the matches we have in store for this Sunday. And, you know, I will say this. Even though the show wasn't anything, you know, great, I hate these performance center shows. I just hate the state of wrestling in general right now. I hate this whole pandemic situation. You know, I hate that we don't have live audiences. You know, I hate the fact that SummerSlam might get canceled because of this nonsense. But I will give WWE credit. I think they definitely did a much better job with SmackDown tonight than they have been doing with Raw as of late. Raw was absolutely garbage. If you guys saw my Raw review a couple days ago, you know, I was very out of it on that review. I didn't even feel like reviewing the show. At least SmackDown tonight, you know, they did some things we can talk about. And, you know, it wasn't a terrible show. You know, there wasn't anything special that happened, but it focused on the matches for Money in the Bank, building that up and making it feel like an important show. I will say one thing about Michael Cole. Michael Cole and Corey Graves on commentary, they're not the best duo. They're nowhere close to a Jerry the King Lawler or and a JR back in the Attitude Era. You know, they're not even close to what Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler did back in the late 2000s. But I'll take them any day of the week over freaking Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton. You know, Michael Cole, man, he's experienced, and sometimes he can be really cringe on the mic, but for the most part, I can stand him, and Corey Graves is pretty good at what he does. For Tom Phillips, man, every single week he's saying the same garbage. Oh, the risk is worth the reward. Talking about how this is the most unique Money in the Bank ladder match in history. Like, I can't stand. They legit spend half the show each and every single week just talking about, you know, Tom Phillips, just talking about whatever's going on in WWE. It's annoying. At least I can handle it when it comes from Michael Cole, and they don't do it as much. But, you know, I just wanted to make a quick note on that, because I feel like it's time that people start talking about how bad the Raw commentary team is. Even though they do have, what's his name? Samoa Joe, my bad. But okay, let me just get the results from Bleacher Report really quick. I thought I already had them here. Hold up. Don't get mad at me, guys. Here we go. I got them. Anyway, the show started off with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. This was a big one-on-one match. They've been building this for a while now. With everything that's happened with the Otis and Dolph storyline, we and us finding out how it was Sonya Deville that was the one that texted Otis that Mandy would be late for for their dinner date on Valentine's Day. you know, we've been waiting for this one-on-one match for a while. I thought there was a chance, possibly, that they would save this match for Money in the Bank. Because right now, I only think there's like 5 or 6 matches on the Money in the Bank card. We have the Money in the Bank match, because we know that both Money in the Bank ladder matches are going to be taking place at the same time, which is one match. We have SmackDown Women's Championship. We have the Universal title. We have the Raw Women's title. We have the SmackDown Tag Team Championships and the Raw Tag Team Championships. So I think there's only about 6 matches on the card. And if that is the case and they keep it that way, great. But in WWE, they'll probably add 2 or 3 other matches just to waste our time. I hope they don't, but for now, let's hope they keep it that way. Let's pray they keep it that way. But we know they've been building this matchup for a while. Sonya Deville has had some fantastic promos in the last couple weeks, and you guys have heard that I feel like Sonya Deville can be an absolute star, You see, they've built up people like Shayna Baszler, and we know Ronda Rousey in the past. Sonya has a very similar style. She's from the MMA world, and I really feel like she can one day, if WWE was to build her up properly, she could be a legit top contender in the women's division for a Raw or SmackDown women's title. I feel like Mandy Rose also has that, but I see more potential in Sonya Deville. Not to disrespect Mandy Rose or anything, all right? But I remember also Sonya Deville, maybe last year, Becky Lynch said Sonya Deville has the potential to be a top star in the company, and then Sonya Deville responded in an interview and cut a fantastic promo talking about how she would make Becky Lynch her son if they ever got in the ring together. Sonya has the potential. She's good in the ring, and she's really good on the mic, if you guys haven't seen her promos the last couple weeks. Before the match, Mandy and Sonya both had backstage interviews. Mandy just talking about how Otis needs to focus on Money in the Bank this Sunday. She's going to deal with Sonya here tonight. And Sonya was talking with Dolph, and Sonya was like, "Oh yeah, this is 5 years worth of what's the word? This is 5 years worth of beat ups that Mandy has coming her way." So both Mandy and Sonya came out, and this was a good match. I will say this was a good match. I want to see this more out of the women's division. Instead of giving us stupid ass tag team matches that do not matter, give us rivalries. Build up these two superstars. They had a pretty good match to start the show. It wasn't anything long. I think it was less than 10 minutes. It was a little bit sloppy here and there. But I like the intensity, and that's the big thing. The intensity was there. If it was a slow match, then I would have probably complained about this a little bit more. But the fact that that they gave them a little bit of time, they started off the show with it, giving it as a point of emphasis, I like it. Definitely this is a long way from over between these two. I feel like they can definitely have a much better match, but they're not like the best in their division. They're two up and coming stars, and I kind of blame WWE for that, because WWE hasn't booked either one of these women correctly. When they were a team, they were never booked correctly. They had so much potential as Fire and Desire, but WWE just kept booking them against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross every single week, which really hurt them. Similar to how they had Sasha and Bailey going up against the Riot Squad each and every single week back a couple years ago. They were doing that with Fire and Desire, and they had so much potential. They probably should have won the women's tag team titles. Honestly, when Sasha and Bailey were the women's tag team champions, I remember saying Sasha and Bailey should hold those titles for most of the year, and then maybe near the end of the year you give them to Mandy and Sonya, make them look like stars in the process. All right, WWE never did that, but tonight I feel like with this rivalry, what they've done, they are making Mandy and Sonya look much more important, and they deserve that. WWE's women's division needs more stars. It can't just be about the 4 horsewomen. It can't just, you guys know, I don't want to go into ranting. It's always about Charlotte and Becky. Even Bayley and Sasha have had their moments, but it's mainly always been about Becky and Charlotte. and Alexa and things like that. You know, you need to build other stars. You have Oscar, you have a Shayna Baszler, you know, Mandy and Sonya. They're two up and coming stars. They've been in the company for a while now. And I hope WWE is using this rivalry and this story to build them up so they can actually be challengers. You know, because I'm telling you, when Sasha takes that title from Bayley, she's gonna need challengers. You know, Sasha Banks, if you give her challengers, let her do the rest. It's that simple. You want to make the SmackDown Women's title be the most important title? If you want the SmackDown Women's title to be the most important title in all of WWE, when Sasha takes that title for Bayley, give her legit contenders. This is how you do it. Use this rivalry to build up Sonya Deville into a really good heel contender. Someone that can actually challenge Sasha when Sasha, because we all know Sasha's turning babyface, and when she takes the title from Bayley, Bayley and Sasha will feud for a couple months, and then Sasha's getting new contenders. I don't want to see freaking Lacey Evans or Tamina again. No, give me some fresh blood. Give me Sonya Deville. Use this rivalry. Use this rivalry to make a new heel star in that women's division. Because Sasha's heel right now. You're going to need a heel to replace Sasha when Sasha turns babyface. Sonya Deville is the right woman for the job. She has the potential. She's not all the way there yet, but this is why you book superstars each and every single week. So they can build up their characters. Alright? This is what you got to do. Yes, the match wasn't perfect tonight. It wasn't perfect, but the intensity made up for it. And this rivalry, like I said, is far from over. We definitely know that somewhere down the line, we're probably going to get like a mixed tag team match between Otis, Mandy versus Sonya and Dolph, which I'm all for. It's not going to happen this Sunday, of course, since Otis is in the Money in the Bank ladder match for the men. Probably Extreme Rules. That would probably make the most sense. Maybe that's where Otis and Mandy will get their payback on Sonya and Dolph. But tonight, Sonya won with the roll-up. It wasn't the best finish, but the thing about this, it continues the story. You wanted to build. It would have been way too predictable if you had Mandy win tonight. Get her payback just like that. It would have hurt the story. It would have hurt both characters in the long run. It would have made everything that Sonya said the last couple of weeks be a lie. All right, it would have made it look like she didn't matter. The whole point of this story is because I'm on the bet, Mandy. If we had a live audience for SmackDown, right? If we had live crowds, Mandy would be really over just because of her association now with Otis. She would be highly over, one of the more cheered baby faces on SmackDown. Definitely. You need to use this rivalry. This rivalry is more about building up Sonya than Mandy. Yes, you want to build on both in the process. You want both to come out looking like bigger stars. But this needs to be about Sonya. Because Sonya has been the one that's been neglected. Mandy's gotten her moment with Otis. And yes, I want to see her climb up the card, climb up in the women's division, become a more legit challenger, for Sasha, for Bayley in the future, But the big key is Sonya. Sonya has all the potential in the world. It looks like WWE is starting to use it. Yes, she's not all the way there. The match was sloppy, but keep doing this. Keep this story going for a couple more months. Extreme Rules most likely next month in June or July or whenever. That's when we'll see, what happens next between these two. Probably a mixed tag team match. But I'm not mad with how the match went on tonight. It was sloppy, but the intensity was there and it continued the storyline. So no complaints from me. Next up, we had a tag team match, all right? 8-man tag team match. You guys know I hate these 8-man tag team matches. We had the New Day and Lucha House Party versus The Miz and Morrison and the Forgotten Sons. This was obvious because we know this Sunday there will be a fatal 4-way between these four teams for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. But, this was a very chaotic match. You got stuff going on the outside, teams were fighting on the inside, and that's one of the best. The thing is, one thing I hate about these big 6-man, 8-man, 10-man tag team matches when, it's just, teams just doing their finishers and stuff like that. No. Multi-man tag team matches are at their best when they're chaotic, when the pace is fast, when stuff, because that's, you have all those people outside the ring. You know what? You want them to standing there outside the ring while two people wrestle? No. If you're gonna have that many people at the ring, I want to see them throwing hands. I want to see them going at each other, and that's exactly what we got with this match. All right, and I'm not complaining at all. This was a really good tag team matches. All teams brought it. We're gonna see the same thing this Sunday. You know, honestly, if this was a ladder match this Sunday, I wouldn't complain. But I understand why it's not a ladder match, because you already have the Money in the Bank ladder match. Plus, we've already had two ladder matches between, the New Day, the Usos, and Miz and Morrison from the last months, coming all the way from WrestleMania. But it's going to be a really good Fatal 4-Way match this Sunday. Miz and Morrison won after Miz hit the skull crushing finale on Dorado. And afterwards, the Forgotten Sons, they were happy they got the victory, but, they didn't really want to celebrate with Miz and Morrison. So definitely, I don't really know. If I had to make a pick for this Sunday, if I had to make a pick, I would probably go with the New Day just for right now. All right? I probably would have the New Day retaining against these four teams, probably getting the win over Miz and Morrison. I think down the line we could potentially see the Forgotten Sons be the teams to take those titles off the New Day. I know the Usos aren't going to be there anytime soon, because I know Jey Uso, he's out with an injury till probably the end of this year. Maybe I think that's also part of the reason why we haven't seen Naomi. I feel like Naomi might be back at home with her Uso family, so we might not see her on television for a while, kind of similar to what happened last year when the Usos were having those DUI problems and Naomi was not on the road. So that could be the case why we haven't seen Naomi lately. So we won't be seeing the Usos till near the end of the year. And I don't know what's going on with Heavy Machinery. I know it seems like they've kind of made Otis into more of a single star, which I hope is not the case. I love Heavy Machinery as a tag team. I was the one that said Heavy Machinery should have been the ones to take the SmackDown tag team titles off of Miz and Morrison originally, but they, plans changed. But I love Otis. I love Otis and Mandy, but I hope this doesn't mean that, Heavy Machinery is broken up and, Otis is just doing singles. We saw Otis, he's going to be in the Men's Money in the Bank match. He was also in a 6-man tag team match with Bryan, Drew Gulak going up against Corbin, Nakamura, and Cesaro in tonight's main event. But I hope Heavy Machinery, they're not broken up. You're gonna need Heavy Machinery because it's gonna get very stale if it's just these four teams fighting. SmackDown a couple months ago, they had a really, or at least a decent tag team division. They had 6 teams. Which is not perfect. You guys know me. I would rather just have WWE merge the tag team divisions all together, merge Raws with SmackDown, and just have one tag team division that, flows on both shows. But, we have to take what we're given for now. But, we'll see where it goes. But if I had to make a prediction right now, I have the New Day retaining this Sunday. Next up, we had the return of Jeff Hardy. All right, the return of Jeff Hardy. They've been doing this whole Jeff Hardy, the rise for the last month on SmackDown. Where they've been, going through Jeff Hardy's career, the rise, all the championships he won with the Hardy Boys, becoming a WWE champion, world champion, and then the fall, how he got in drug problems, his arrest, all these other things, how he was able to reemerge, bounce back from those, come back to WWE last year with Matt Hardy, even though they tried to cut Matt Hardy as much out of the video as possible since Hardy left WWE, of course, to go to AEW. And then now Hardy's making his return for what they're calling one last final run. Renee Young was out there interviewing Jeff, asking what left he has to accomplish in WWE. Jeff's like, he doesn't know what's left for him, but he's excited for the journey. He's excited for the challenge. I'm happy Jeff Hardy's back. I think I have a prediction for Jeff Hardy. This is what I think is going to happen with Jeff. And this should not be a surprise. Last year at the Elimination Chamber, right when this whole Kofi Mania start was happening. Originally, that was supposed WWE was debating between having Daniel Bryan go up against either Mustafa Ali or Jeff Hardy at Mania for the WWE Championship. It was most likely going to be Jeff Hardy, but Mustafa Ali was the backup plan. Then Ali got injured, of course, to Randy Orton. And then Kofi took over, and that's when Kofi Mania, became the big thing. And Kofi got that WWE Championship, which was probably the best moment of all of last year. Now we fast forward to this year. Jeff Hardy was originally supposed to be in that spot. With everything, Roman Reigns was supposed to become the Universal Champion at Mania, but we don't know when Roman's coming back. We know Roman, he canceled his match. He's not coming back to WWE right now. WWE, Vince has instructed all the superstars, all the commentators to make no mention of him on WWE TV. They don't want Roman mentioned at all. At all. And, Roman, it was revealed earlier that Roman, the reason why he decided to cancel is he wants to keep his family safe. Not only because of his cancer, he is a cancer survivor and he has a weakened immune system. Plus, he doesn't want to take any chances since his wife just had twins. I believe he now has 4 or 5 children. So congrats to him. So I applaud him for taking, the selfless route, because he was going to be Goldberg. He was going to become world champion. He decided, no, my family comes first and I want to keep them safe. But honestly, we have no idea when Roman's going to come back. There were rumors saying that they might do Roman versus Wyatt at SummerSlam. We don't know if that's going to happen. There's rumors saying that Roman might not come back until we have a vaccine, which most likely won't be till very early next year at the earliest. So we don't know what's going on with Roman, when he's going to come back. So it's been rumored that WWE's trying to make contingency plans. It looks like I think Jeff Hardy's going to be the guy to potentially take out Bray Wyatt somewhere down the line. Maybe at SummerSlam, maybe even past that. Because this is what I think is what's going to happen. You look at it, there's really going to be no challengers. I feel like, and we'll talk about Bray Wyatt in a sec. I feel like there's going to be really no challengers for Bray Wyatt after he defeats Strowman. I feel like it's set in stone that Bray Wyatt's going to beat Strowman this Sunday at Money in the Bank. All right, I feel like there's no, I'm giving Strowman very little hope. All right, very low. Strowman was never supposed to be a Universal Champion anyway. It's good. It sucks for Strowman. He's gonna be a transitional champion, but I don't care. You guys saw what Strowman said about the independent wrestlers on the indie scene. Like, I don't respect Strowman. I don't give a damn about him. He should have never been Universal Champion in the first place. So who cares? But I feel like they're gonna build Hardy up to be the next challenger, or potentially be the guy to take that Universal title off of Bray Wyatt if Roman isn't coming back at least past SummerSlam, because Roman has given no indication when he's going to return, and like I said, I could very well see Roman sit out until potentially next year if things, haven't calmed down and we haven't received a vaccine and we're still doing this performance center garbage. If things get back to normal by the end of the summer, hey, things might change. But until, at least for right now, at least, Roman's not coming back. And I feel like Jeff Hardy is going to be a guy to take, or at least challenge Bray Wyatt sometime this summer. Because if you look at it, there's not many baby faces on SmackDown for Wyatt the face. That's why we need a superstar shake-up badly. These rosters need to be flipped. Most of the challengers that they could use for Wyatt are on Raw. Raw's roster is stacked. Even though Raw is garbage and awful, all of the good wrestlers are on Monday Night Raw and not on SmackDown. SmackDown has almost nobody. I know Mustafa Ali, everyone believes him and Chad Gable are the two hackers. And, Roman's gone right now. They've already done Daniel Bryan, Braun Strowman. They're doing that at this moment. I feel like there's really no other top baby faces. Maybe Drew Gulak. But I don't think anybody would believe that Drew Gulak had any chance against Bray Wyatt. So, I don't know. Maybe they turn Bray Wyatt babyface and have him go up against maybe a Baron Corbin or something like that. But honestly, after they do Wyatt versus Strowman, there's other than Jeff Hardy, there's really no legit contenders for Bray Wyatt unless they go back to a Daniel Bryan or something like that. And I know Daniel Bryan's eventually leaving WWE in a couple any day now because Brie Bella's pregnant and Bryan's gonna have to renegotiate his WWE contract that expires at the end of the summer. But getting back into it with Jeff Hardy, I think that's just where they're gonna go with him. Right now, they have him feuding with Sheamus, which hasn't been about a bad build-up. Jeff Hardy talked about how he's excited for this last final run in WWE. He's excited for what's in store. And then he called out Sheamus because last week Sheamus told Michael Cole that he would be here this week to confront Jeff Hardy. Sheamus was talking smack in the back, then came out, and this wasn't a bad back and forth. Sheamus is like, "Is this really the guy everyone's talking about? Why do they keep hyping up your returns? When we all know you're gonna eventually fail again. You were great back in the day, but you're nowhere close to your prime self." Basically, that was the gist of Sheamus's promo, and even though it was kind of predictable what he was gonna say, it was still good. It was still a good promo. It got right to the point. Didn't waste any time, and I have no problem with it. I have no problem with what Sheamus said. None of that. Then Jeff Hardy took the mic and said, "Yeah, I've made mistakes in the past, but it's what I've learned from those mistakes that kept me going." And then Sheamus is like, "Learning from those mistakes, we don't know you're gonna fail again." And then Sheamus is like, "Before you make another mistake, let me just stop you right there before it happens." So Sheamus comes down to the ring, and it looks like he goes into the ring. He's gonna attack Jeff Hardy, but Hardy countered his attack, hit him with a whisper in the wind, then hit him with a twist of fate, and hit him with the Swanton Bomb. I know that they changed Jeff Hardy's Twist of Fate move to a different name because Matt Hardy's using the same move in AEW, and it says WWE Big Petty. They want nothing to do with Matt Hardy now that he left WWE and went to AEW. But I'm not sure if they called it by that other name tonight, but I'm just gonna call it the Twist of Fate. I'm not gonna call it a different name because WWE wants to be stupid and petty, but. Yeah, Jeff was able to escape Sheamus tonight. Definitely, I would not be surprised if they have this as a match at Money in the Bank. Hopefully not, but we'll just have to wait and see. We know that some kind of rivalry is going to develop between these two. Maybe we'll see a match with Sheamus and Hardy next Friday on SmackDown, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But a very simple segment, and we'll see what happens with Jeff. But I definitely think Jeff's being built up to challenge for the Universal Championship. Speak of the Universal Championship, we had a segment between Bray Wyatt and Strowman. They came face to face. This is what my thoughts is. This is a very simple and corny story. It makes sense, but like I said, if Bray Wyatt's on thin ice, if you look at it, because WWE's already fucked up Bray Wyatt twice. They fucked up at Hell in a Cell. He should have never had that match. Should have never actually happened because clearly WWE rushed Bray Wyatt's push. They had nobody for Seth Rollins to feud with, so they put Bray Wyatt in that predicament. WWE never intended to give Bray Wyatt the Universal title at that time. And then they fucked up and they gave us one of the worst Hell in a Cell endings. The worst Hell in a Cell ending. Probably the worst pay-per-view ending of all time. Then they had to, rectify that at Crown Jewel by making Wyatt champion. Then they made another mistake by giving the title to Goldberg. And I blame that mostly on I blame it on WWE and I blame it on Goldberg because Goldberg's a selfish prick and I hope Goldberg never comes back. Because it was, you guys heard me rant about this a couple weeks ago. It was Goldberg's idea. To take the title. Goldberg was the one that went to WWE management and said he needs to have the title win because he has to look like a superhero for the kids, which was a terrible decision, and I will stick by that till my dying day. So, they kind of gave us some new light, some new hope for Bray Wyatt with what they did with that amazing Firefly Funhouse match with Wyatt and Cena at Mania. But Wyatt's on thin ice. If he loses to Strowman at Money in the Bank, he's done. He's buried in my eyes. Strowman, I don't give a damn because I have Strowman losing. I think 99.9% of us all have Strowman losing at Money in the Bank. And Strowman loses, when he loses, he's going to be looked at as a transitional champion. No one's going to care. No one's going to remember. His title victory against Goldberg was one of the worst title matches I've ever seen. It was just finisher, finisher, finisher. It was awful. Strowman should have never been put in this position to begin with. He wasn't even supposed to be on the WrestleMania card. You know, he got blessed by getting that Universal title victory with Roman canceling his match. But, you know, it's a simple story. You know what? But this is the way I see it going. First of all, Strowman's terrible on the mic. He is awful on the mic. You know, basically, you could tell this was a pre-taped segment. I'm not sure if they pre-taped it today or this was taped last week. Because I know that they do like 2 recordings for every session. Like they'll film Raw for 1 week and then they'll film the next Raw the week after, so their superstars were at home. I believe this was filmed last week because most of the SmackDown superstars were tweeting during the show. So this is definitely from last week. So you could tell it was heavily edited, and that's the way Bray Wyatt, he came out as Mr. Rogers. There's been no indication that the Fiend's coming. All right, so we're gonna get Mr. Rogers Wyatt against Strowman this Sunday. I feel like they'll do something where the Fiend will show up, or at least they'll tease it, and that will give the distraction Wyatt needs to get the victory over Strowman. But Strowman's just terrible on the mic. Bray Wyatt's fine. Wyatt was joking around with Strowman. Strowman just kept repeating himself like, "Oh, you do not control me. Yes, even though I started off as a member of the Wyatt family, they didn't create me. They didn't destroy me. All this other stuff. I'm not falling for your little games." All right? Like, Strowman just comes out and says the same garbage every single week. Like, I'm sick of Strowman at this point. I'm sick of him. But honestly, what I think they need to do, they tease it. They had like all of the Firefly Funhouse characters saying, "Come back home, Strowman, come back home." Wyatt offered the Black Sheep match to Strowman like he has the last couple of weeks, but Strowman, like I said, says no. At Money in the Bank, it'll be the end of you, and walks away. I feel like the best thing for Strowman would be to drop the title to Bray Wyatt and join the Firefly Funhouse. Rejoin Bray Wyatt. I think that would be the best thing for Strowman. Because honestly, Strowman as a babyface, he's cringe. I don't give a damn about him. I care about him a little bit more, just a tad bit more when he's a heel. But honestly, the guy sucks. He's not championship material. I say this all the time. The best chance to get Strowman a championship was back in 2017 when he first turned heel, when we didn't know what to expect from him, and they should have had him beat Brock Lesnar at No Mercy. You know, 3 years later, Strowman, he's a transitional champion, and I couldn't give a damn about him. I feel like, you know, you want to make Strowman relevant, because Wyatt's winning this Sunday. I'm 100% convinced of that. What you need to do is have Strowman rejoin Wyatt. I've been saying for months, you know, it would be so much better. You know, I love Bray Wyatt, but I feel like it would add another layer to his character if he had some people join the Firefly Funhouse. You know, maybe have like a Sarah Logan in there, have a Strowman, have some actual superstars, have like his real life brother, Bo Dallas. Have Bo Dallas join the Firefly Funhouse. I feel like it would add another element and layer to his character and make him, you know, much more appealing. So I feel like they should do something like that with Strowman. You know, realign him with Bray Wyatt this Sunday after Money in the Bank, and yeah, that's the route I would go. You know, Strowman, I don't give a damn. He's going to be looked at as a transitional champion. He should have never been in this predicament to begin with. And hopefully, you know, they make the right decision. If Strowman retains, Wyatt's buried. He's absolutely buried. There's no hope. All right, but I'm pretty positive that Strowman is going to lose. Wyatt's going to become Universal Champion again, and will most likely get some kind of feud with Jeff Hardy going forward, but we'll just have to wait and see. Next up, we had Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Tamina and Lacey Evans. This was in result of the backstage segment we had last week when Bailey and Sasha blindsided Tamina backstage. Lacey Evans evened up the odds. And yeah, you know, but I see a lot of people saying positive things about Tamina. Look, I will say this. I'm happy that Tamina, she's in the later stages of her career and, she's getting somewhat of a push. She's defeated Sasha Banks now. She's defeated Bailey. She's getting a championship match on Sunday. Tamina's not winning. If Tamina wins, you guys will get a rant of a century, but I'm pretty positive Tamina is not winning, and I feel like that was validated tonight. They had Tamina win in the tag team match. It wasn't a bad tag team match. Wasn't, of course, because you have Sasha Banks and Bailey in there. You have the greatest wrestler of all time in there in Sasha Banks. Like, of course, it's not going to be a bad match, as bad as Lacey Evans and Tamina are. But, and I'm happy that Tamina, she's getting some shine, but she sucks. She has zero charisma. Earlier in her career, when she was working with Santino, yeah, she was decent. When she was working with Sasha Banks and Naomi and T-Mad, she was okay. But ever since then, when they had her tag teaming with freaking Nia Jax, she is very, very bad. She has no charisma. All right, her theme song I saw on Twitter today. Somebody on Twitter was like, her theme song sounds like something you would hear in a Disney movie when a good character turns bad. And I started dying. I was laughing out loud, legitimately. But Tamina sucks. She has no charisma, no style. Her entrance is she just walks out to the ring. There is legit nothing that I find intriguing about her. Nothing. She can't do anything in the ring. She can't. She barely sells. All right. Her only move is the super kick and the frog splash. Sasha does a frog splash 10 times better than Tamina. In the prime of her career, Tamina could do a really good frog splash. These days, hell no. All right, and I'm happy that she's getting this little push, but I think we all know she's not winning this Sunday, and this was basically confirmed with what they did tonight. So basically, Bailey I had to plug my laptop real quick. But basically, Bailey, she hit the Bailey to belly. And I'll say one thing about Bailey. One thing that I've loved about these Performance Center shows, Bailey yelling at Michael Cole. Every time Michael Cole, Corey Graves are talking about Bailey and Sasha, Bailey's always responding and yelling like, "Yeah, I know I'm the best. Yeah, Michael Cole, watch when I'm about to do this." And I just love it. I love it. Just like hearing Asuka on Raw talking Japanese, do her little dancing and all that. I love when Bailey's just talking crap on SmackDown. But Bailey, she hit the Bailey the belly. She also hit the flying elbow drop from the top rope, and Tamina kicked out. And I'm not gonna get mad on this because they're just trying to make Tamina look like a monster. Tamina won with 2 super kicks. Sasha tried to get involved. She got hit with the woman's right, which is disgusting. During Lacey's entrance, they had like a little graphic up of. Lacey's gonna hit you with a woman's right, something like that. Disgusting. I don't know why they're still trying to push Lacey as a babyface. Just turn her heel. She's awful. But yeah, Sasha sells the woman's right so well, as terrible as a move it is. But yeah, Tamina hit her with 2 super kicks and got the 1, 2, 3. So basically, by having Tamina kick out of all Bailey's finishers, they're trying to make Tamina look like a legit contender. This is what I think is gonna happen this Sunday. Since Sasha's not in the Money in the Bank match, Lacey's gonna be in the women's Money in the Bank match. So she won't be interfering with Sasha and Bailey's match. So, I love it. Every week, Sasha's yelling at Lacey, "Stay out of our business." So this is what I think is going to happen. What I think is going to happen is Sasha's, or even if Sasha doesn't, accompany Bailey to the ring, Sasha will probably interfere. some way, shape, or form. So interfere, and that will give the distraction that Bayley needs to pick up the victory, and that will also, continue the Sasha Banks and Bayley storyline. We know that slowly they are building up tension between Sasha and Bayley. It's mostly under the surface right now, but if you guys have been paying attention, each and every single week, they're dropping, smaller and smaller hints of the diffusion of Sasha Banks and Bayley. What I think is going to happen is Sasha will help Bayley get the win this Sunday over Tamina, and I don't know what will happen next. If I was WWE, I would not have Bayley defend the title at Extreme Rules. All right? The reason why I say that is this. One, for two reasons. You guys have heard me rant about Becky each and every single week. You guys have heard me rant. I've bitched. I've moaned. And you guys know I can't stand Becky these days. If Becky doesn't defend her title at Money in the Bank, since she's not, I would not have Bayley defend her title. It's only fair. I mean, at Extreme Rules. Bayley should not have to defend her title at Extreme Rules once he defeats Tamina this Sunday. And the fact that they gave Tamina the victory in the tag team match tonight gives me more and more confidence that Bayley's going to retain. Probably because of Sasha Banks' interference. They did tease something, though, very interesting. Alright? If I wouldn't have Bayley defend at Extreme Rules, and I think July's pay-per-view is either Great Balls of Fire or Payback. It's one of those pay-per-views, one of those, like G-plus level pay-per-views, the ones that we really don't care about, but we have to watch because it's the pay-per-view anyway. They did tease something. The hacker, we all know it's basically Mustafa Ali or Chad Gable giving vocals with like a robot effect. All right, because there was a guy on Twitter that was able to decode the effects of the hacker, and we were able to figure out it was actually Ali and Chad Gable's voices. There was a video. The hacker put up a video like "The Truth Will Be Heard," right? And in that video package, it had Sasha getting pinned by Tamina. It had the New Day when Big E pinned the Miz to win the SmackDown Tag Team titles for the 8th time a couple weeks ago. They are teasing something between these teams, and I think we all know it's Sasha and Bayley. If you guys have been following the story, something. And at the end, the very interesting part, the most interesting part was at the end of the video. It showed there was vocals of some female talking in the background. I don't remember exactly what it was. I'm gonna find it really quickly if you guys I'm gonna find it right now. Give me like 30 seconds. But the hacker did show up like right after Sasha Banks and Bayley's match. So but the thing is also Sasha Banks, after the match, she didn't get pinned. I'm happy because I'm getting tired of seeing Sasha get pinned each and every single week. But definitely Sasha was sitting at the barricade and she was pissed. She was just like, "Oh, it looks like enough was enough." All right, like she couldn't take it. And the thing is, the fact is, they show the hacker showing up right after the match, like right after the match. So it and I'm trying to find it. It's taking me a while because okay, I just found it. Now let me see if you guys can hear it.
Focusing on our tag team title match next week against Nikki and Alexa.
So it had Sasha getting pinned by Tamina, Big E pinning the Miz for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, and it also had Carmella and Dana Brooke. Honestly, I don't know why they had Dana Brooke and Carmella. They aren't even really a tag team, so I have no idea why I would care.
Before you see it.
Focusing on our tag team title match next week against Nikki and Alexa.
Because I am. The thing about anger is, you can always hear it before you see it.
So here's that interesting part. He said the thing about anger is you can always hear it before you see it. And if you guys have seen what's going on between Sasha Banks and Bailey the last couple of months, you could start to hear the anger in Sasha Banks' voice, the frustration, you know. And also, here comes the end of it.
I'll tell you one thing. Payback is coming, and it's coming real soon.
So that's the big thing. It says, I'll tell you one thing. Payback is coming, and it's coming real soon. So I know there's going to be, probably someone will be able to decode it. And, you know, it might be revealed to be Sasha or Bailey. You know, I'm not going to make any predictions on that. But, you know, Dave Meltzer did report that Sasha is going to be turning babyface for her rivalry with Bailey, and it would make the most sense. You know, you had Bailey change her entire character to turn heel. Sasha, it would be easy to turn her babyface. Plus, she's already immensely popular already. You know, so it would make the most sense for Sasha to be the babyface. Plus, we've already seen heel Sasha versus babyface Bailey, so it'd be good to have a reversal of the roles. So definitely, I'm waiting for someone on Twitter to decode the voices and have it revealed to be either Sasha or Bailey. But Payback is coming, and it's coming real soon. So maybe, who knows, maybe at Money in the Bank, like after, you know, the match, after Bailey defeats Tamina, they have the hackers show up and they play more videos teasing the dysfunction between Sasha and Bailey. Who knows? You know, we still haven't heard any reaction of when, you know, when Lacey hit Sasha with the woman's right at Mania and Bailey just sat in the corner and let Sasha get pinned when Bailey could easily have broken up the pin. So definitely, things are getting very interesting, all right? Interesting. Even though I wanted Sasha to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, she doesn't need the briefcase to have a rivalry with Bailey, you know? And I've already said I think Raw is taking home both Money in the Bank briefcases, Raw and Smack. The Raw woman, I think either Shayna or Asuka, most likely Shayna. That's my pick for the Raw. For the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, I have either Aleister Black or AJ Styles. One of those two, I'm taking home the briefcase over on that side. And somebody's definitely getting thrown off WWE headquarters. Like I'm excited for that. I might have to film a reaction for that. But yeah, other than that, really, that's about all I gotta say for Sasha and Bailey. You know, definitely the rivalry's heating up each and every single week. We get more and more little hints. But yeah, we'll just have to see, you know, where they go, how this continues going forward. All right, but definitely things are getting interesting on that front. But the last thing, of course, we had Daniel Bryan versus Daniel Bryan, Drew Gulak, Otis versus King Corbin, Cesaro, and Nakamura. Daniel Bryan, Drew Gulak were able to recruit Otis to be their tag team partner. You know, and it wasn't a bad match, but we all knew this was just the build up, the Money in the Bank match between, you know, Corbin, Bryan, and Otis. They were the main focus of this. All right. Let me see. Yeah, Bleacher Report messed up the result. They said that Bryan, Gulak, and Otis won the match when that was wrong. I know that Corbin won, hitting the deep six on Gulak. It makes the most sense. You're not going to have Bryan or Otis take a pin before the Money in the Bank match this Sunday. But basically, after the match, there was a brawl that broke up. Corbin looks like he was going to set up a ladder. Then Bryan and Baron Corbin get into a brawl. Then Otis hit Baron Corbin with a ladder, and then when Otis tried climbing up the ladder, he actually broke one of the rungs with his foot, so teasing that Otis is not going to be able to even climb up a ladder, you know, so that was kind of funny. But then Baron Corbin came in, took out Otis, and climbed up the ladder, grabbed the briefcase. And we all know Corbin is a former Money in the Bank briefcase winner. Of course, he did fail to Jinder fucking Mahal, which I still laugh at to this day. But this also tells me that Corbin's not winning Money in the Bank either. You know, why would you tease that? Like, I feel like for the men, it's going to come down to either Aleister Black or AJ Styles from Raw. Like I said, I have AJ Styles and Aleister Black, one of those two winning for the men's Money in the Bank. And for the woman, I have either Asuka or Shayna Baszler from Raw as well. So I think Raw is taking home both of the Money in the Bank briefcases. But yeah, I don't know. They're pushing Corbin again. I don't really care, to be honest. They have him, getting, not only getting the win with the deep six on Drew Gulak for the 1-2-3. They had him also standing or ending the show with the men's Money in the Bank briefcase. So that tells me that Corbin's not winning. But either way, we'll see what happens this Sunday. I already gave you guys my predictions. Like I said, I'm okay. They did show footage of what it's gonna look like inside of the headquarters. Like, they can brawl everywhere from Vince's office to the cafeteria to the executive boardroom to the gym. You can take the elevator to the roof, the stairs. It's going to be interesting, all right? It's going to be interesting. If I do a reaction, it might just be to that match only. It probably won't be to the whole show, but we'll see. I'm definitely, it's going to be something. It's going to be something, all right? I'm not, even though I'm not hyped for Money in the Bank, I am intrigued to see what happens in this whole climb up the corporate ladder, Money in the Bank ladder match. We'll see what happens there. But other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. I want to thank you guys for joining me on the podcast here tonight. Like I said before, if you guys are new to the channel and you guys enjoy the review, make sure to slap a like, comment, subscribe, enable notifications by clicking the bell next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. We will be back here this Sunday. We most likely won't be doing a Money in the Bank live stream, but we will be here for a Money in the Bank live review right after the show goes off the air. So you guys will want to be here for that. Thank you guys for all the support this week. Hopefully you guys stay safe. Hopefully I'll see you guys this Sunday for Money in the Bank. It's going to be a big weekend, and we'll see what happens and who becomes Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank. That's all for today, guys. Thank you guys once again for all the support. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description down below. I'll see you guys later.